Chautauqua County Court, where today was the opening day of the trial of Hadi Matar. He's the New Jersey man who is on trial for trying to kill author Salman Rushdie back in 2022. Today, the jurors heard opening statements from both the prosecution and Mr. Matar's attorney. The prosecution started with a very graphic, detailed description of the attack on Mr. Rushdie. He described for jurors how an attacker kind of came out of nowhere from the audience, bounded onto the stage, attacked Mr. Rushdie at a full run and began stabbing him before anyone even really knew what was happening. The defense attorney, on the other hand, cautioned jurors that the case was not so clear-cut, told the jurors to pay close attention to what they would not hear from the prosecution and from their witnesses. The first two witnesses of the day were two employees of the Chautauqua Institution who were on scene when the attack occurred. The first witness was an administrator who didn't directly see the attack, but ran to the stage once she realized that something had happened. She was handed the knife by a reverend who had been near the attack, and she promptly turned that over to law enforcement. The second witness was another Chautauqua employee who was backstage watching the event unfold on a monitor when he realized that Mr. Rushdie was under attack. He said he wanted to do something to stop it, so described putting his shoulder down and rushing at the attacker to try to disrupt it. Matar walked into the courtroom past several media photographers. He said "Free Palestine" as he was walking by before he took a seat at the defense table. He spent the day taking notes, conferring with his attorneys. At one point, he seemed to be smiling and laughing with his attorneys. He seems to have taken a pretty active role in his defense. Salman Rushdie is a prolific author. He received the Booker Prize. He's the author of the Satanic Verses, which investigators believe is what prompted this attack on him. This Satanic Verses was believed to be blasphemous by some Muslims. Mr. Matar has said he is Muslim, and that seems to be the motive behind this attack. The jurors, however, are unlikely to hear about any motive in this trial. Matar does face federal charges related to terrorism, and the motive is expected to be more of a consideration in that trial.
So today, Salman Rushdie testified in the trial of a man who is accused of trying to murder him. His testimony was very even-tempered, even-keeled, very articulate. His memories, even as he acknowledged the traumatic setting of what happened. A couple of times he even found moments to make a joke. He referred at one point to his eye. His eye had been stabbed to the point where he can't see out of it anymore. And he referred to having surgery on that eye in which they had to seal it shut. And he talked about how painful it was, and then he kind of smiled and turned to the jury and said, "I don't recommend it." The cross-examination was very brief. It was very mild. The defense attorney even was relatively polite, at one point even a little bit starstruck. She began by asking him about all the various awards he had won, and noted that he had been in a few movies, and then she kind of said, "You'd be surprised to know that Bridget Jones's Diary is my favorite movie." He had a cameo in that, and I guess he thought that was kind of amusing, and he said, "Yes, it's my most important work." She tried to challenge him as much as you could challenge him. She tried to kind of question whether he really could remember it all very well. Was he too traumatized to remember it well? And this is something he kind of pushed back on, and his memories were quite clear. If there was something he didn't remember precisely, he would say so. It should be noted this is the first time that he was in the same room as the man accused of trying to kill him. There was no indication of them acknowledging the other. The defendant, for the most part, kept his head down Once in a while would look up, but kind of blankly. You didn't get a sense that he was really reacting to what Rushdie was saying. Rushdie, for the most part, looked just straight ahead, glanced off to the jury a couple of times, because a couple of times he had to show the jury things. He would show them a scar he had, or just make an aside to the jury. It should be noted his wife, Rachel Eliza Griffiths, a writer herself, was in the audience, in the courtroom, seated in the second row, and were reserved for family members. She became quite emotional a couple of times, quite tears in her eyes.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
At this time, I'll just ask the media to stop recording. And per my order, you're welcome to stand as well. Just turn off your cameras and we'll have you clear out before your cameras and bringing the jurors in.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, this morning at about 6:45,
so I don't have to switch cards with you or anything.
right, and then he closed up shop.